Hey guys, today I'm going to be sharing with you my recipe and my version of a coconut bake or coconut bread. It's not a traditional one, but it's my way of doing it and it is fantastic. I promise you that it's so good. We're going to start off with some coconut milk, and I have warmed it in the microwave for about 30 seconds or so, just so it's nice and warm. And I've added 1 packet of yeast to that, and I see it's nice and activated and ready to go. Now I do really suggest that you use the can of coconut milk. I think the consistency is a lot better than the one that you get in a box. So go ahead and get that out and warm it up in the microwave. You don't want it too hot or too cold, and add your yeast to that and set that aside and let it be activated and nice and frothy and ready to go. And in our next bowl we have some all-purpose flour, granulated sugar, brown sugar, and salt, as well as some coconut, these are shredded coconut flakes, sweetened shredded coconut flakes, an egg, and some unsalted butter that has been softened. Now just warm and get the yeast in there and set that aside, and let's go ahead and work on our dry ingredients. What we're going to do is we're going to mix together our dry ingredients, which is the flour, the different types of sugar, and salt. Remember, all the amounts, of course, will be listed below in the description box. And I'm going to get my hands in there, and I'm going to really incorporate it really well, because I don't want any clumps of brown sugar. Brown sugar tends to clump up a lot, and I don't want any clumps of it in any, I want it all nice and incorporated. And I made a well in the center of my bowl, and I added in my coconut yeasty mixture there, just right into the center of the flour. I'm also going to go ahead and add in my egg. Now I add egg to this recipe because it just adds such richness, and it's really great in this bread. So I definitely I add the egg. I love it. I'm gonna mix this together until the egg starts to break up, just like that, starting to break up there. And just gonna start incorporating everything together, all the flour, get it in there, and then I'm gonna add in my shredded coconut. Wanted to mix those wet ingredients together before I added in the coconut. And then I'm going to start off with my spoon and just try and incorporate it as best as I can. But I'm just going to switch over to my hands and really try and work in that flour into the dough. Just bringing everything in together, making sure that it all gets incorporated. And then we're going to switch this over and put it into either your countertop, or I'm going to be using a wooden board for this. See, everything's coming together lovely there. Now, because of all this stuff that there's the coconut flakes and everything in there, it's going to be a little bit tougher than just a regular smooth dough, but it will come together perfectly. And all I'm going to do is just bring this all in together until it just really comes together, and then I'm going to start kneading this. We're going to knead this for about 6 to 8 minutes. You can see that I'm using the back of my hand to push it out, and I'm bringing it back in, and I'm going to continue doing that for about 6 to 8 minutes, kneading it like so. It's all going to come together lovely. Get all those little pieces all incorporated. Just press it out with the back of your hand and bring it back in. And until it comes together in a nice, it will come together in a nice, smooth little dough ball. And after about, like you can see, it came together beautifully there. I'm just gonna form it into a little ball, and just form it into a little ball and give it some love, man. You gotta give your dough some love. You got to. Into a bowl, I've sprayed with some non-stick cooking spray. You can also use some vegetable oil. I'm going to plop my dough ball in there and roll it around so all the sides get coated in that non-stick cooking spray that I used. I'm going to cover that with cling wrap and a towel on top of that and place this in a warm area till it's double in size. It will take about 2 hours because there's so much stuff going on in the dough. It will take a bit longer than normal, but it will take about 2 hours. And I've also sprayed a baking tray with non-stick cooking spray because I don't want anything to stick. And I'm going to plop my dough on there. I'm going to take a knife and cut this into half, just like so. And at this point, you want to get your oven preheated to 350 degrees. I'm going to take a half of my dough ball that I cut there, and I'm just going to form it into a ball by joining the two ends together. Nothing fancy, nothing perfect, doesn't have to be all perfect and everything, just until it comes a nice circle. I'm going to use my hands to press it down And then we're also just going to make it until it's about 1.5 inches thick. As you can see, I'm doing with the other one here. I'm just bringing in the edges to make it into a circle. And then I'm using my hands to kind of flatten it out a little bit. You can use a rolling pin as well if you want. But my hands are so much easier. And one less dish to wash. Hey, no one's complaining. I'm going to just flatten it out with my hands until it's about 1.5 inches thick. We don't want it to be too thin. And I'm just going to use a fork and just poke some holes in there. Just poke it, make it look all pretty. Or somewhat, and these are going to sit for about 20 minutes while our oven preheats to 350 degrees. And then after 20 minutes sitting in a warm area, we're going to bake this for about 25 to 30 minutes until the top is nice and golden brown and the top and bottom has a nice slight crunch to it, and the inside is just soft goodness. My goodness, guys, I'm telling you, this is perfection. My little one adores this recipe. She loves it. You gotta put some butter on that, man. Just smear some butter on that, and that perfection. It is perfection. I love bread. I love carbs. I'm telling you guys, I love this recipe. It's so good. I hope that you guys enjoy this recipe. Thank you guys for watching. I know it's not your traditional coconut bake, but it is fantastic. So don't forget to subscribe, like, share, all of that good stuff, and I'll see you guys next time.